Hey everybody, and welcome to the Ingles table. I'm Mark Keady, and today I'm excited to share with you my 1-hour barbecue rib recipe. Ribs don't have to be something that you buy on Thursday, you marinate on Friday, you smoke all day Saturday, and maybe you get to eat them on Saturday night. With this recipe, you can have ribs ready in as little as 1 hour, thanks to, of course, our pressure cooker, and of course the best meat in town that we found at Ingles Markets. Let's get cooking. So the first thing we've done is we've been to Ingles Markets. We've got the best meat in town, and today we went with spare ribs. Ingles always has great deals on baby back ribs and spare ribs. Today, we just felt a little bit like spare ribs. Now, one of the most important things when it comes to eating ribs is to make sure you prep the meat right. And the first thing you can do, especially with spare ribs, because they have a little bit more fat, we've trimmed off quite a bit of the fat around the top side. But on the bottom of both baby back ribs and spare ribs, you've got this little membrane that kind of exists on the back. And what this does is this really keeps a lot of your rub and your flavor from penetrating both sides of the meat. And of course, we want that to happen. So you kind of got to get your fingers there. You can use a knife, but I've learned that eventually with a little practice, you get your fingers under there. And watch this. You just pull that right off. We don't need that at all for this, all right? Now we have both sides of the meat perfectly exposed. Now, the next step is to put a little rub on it. Now with this recipe, you can just salt and pepper them and put them into your pressure cooker and they're going to be great. I like to marinate my things in just about a dry rub for maybe 4 to 5 hours in the refrigerator. It really makes a great difference. And if you want to make your own rub or use one of your traditional rub recipes, certainly look that up. Do whatever you like. I'm going to make it real easy today with the Grill Mates Sweet and Smoky that I found at Ingles Market. So with this is just a liberal coating on all of the ribs, front and back, and we've got the membranes off of all of our ribs here today. We wanted to show you how that was done though. So all we're going to do is coat both sides really quickly, and then we're going to put them in the fridge. Let me show you how it's done. So once you've got them covered in rub, pretty simple. Good old generic plastic bag, just like that. One trick to this is you get it sealed as close as you can, leave a little hole, and try to get all that air out of the bag. That's going to get those spices penetrating the meat a lot faster. These are going to go in the fridge for about 5 hours. So we put the rub on our ribs this morning, we put them in the fridge, and as we've gotten home here towards the end of the day, they're ready to go, and we're going to be eating these delicious spare ribs in about 1 hour. They're fully marinated. Take your pressure cooker, real simple stuff. Add the trivet. Most people have this. Most people now are starting to put this device in their kitchen, which is certainly helping make a lot of delicious meals, and ribs are just one of those things that you don't have to wait all day long on anymore. The great thing is you can also stack ribs up on their side, which is going to allow us to put 2 full racks into our pressure cooker. And of course, the last thing we need for the pressure cooker is a little bit of moisture. So we're just going to take a little bit of this Laura Lynn chicken stock, maybe about a cup of it. That seems about right. And that's about it. Put our lid on. We're going to make sure our vent's closed, and we're going to set it on a pressure for 24 minutes. They're going to cook right here for 24 minutes, and then we're going to have what's called a natural release. All the steam will naturally come out, and that'll take about another 20 minutes. If you're doing the math, that leaves a little bit of time left. We'll show you what to do at that time when these are done. So we've had our ribs in the pressure cooker for about 24 minutes, plus about another 15 to 20 minutes on natural release, which means, woo, we should have some pretty tender ribs right now. And as you can see, some of it's fall off the bone, and that's okay. A lot of people like fall off the bone ribs. I like them a little tender, a little fall off the bone, somewhere right in the middle. So what we have here is we'll just take a couple of racks and show you what we have. These came out very nicely. And remember, these only took just a few minutes, but look at that. The bones are just coming right out. So these did very, very well for many people, and that's very yummy. And you could certainly chop these down to sauce these. So what I'm going to do with these ones that the bones came out of, I'm going to just chop these into individual sort of rib fingers, and we're going to sauce them. And then we're going to leave this one on the bones, leave it racked. So you can do it either way you like with whatever your favorite sauce is. In fact, I grew up in Kansas. I'm a Kansas City barbecue fan. I'm a Kansas City barbecue snob, but I got to tell you, I'm also becoming quite a fan of the South Carolina mustard sauce as well. So whatever your favorites are, make sure you do that. We're gonna get these sauced up and then we're gonna stick them under the broiler at about 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. And that's gonna get those nice little crispy burnt ends on them. It's gonna make the sauce meld into the meat real nice. They're gonna be perfect. Let's get these sauced up. So we've got all of our rib sauce. We got one with the South Carolina mustard, the rest more of a Kansas City tomato-based barbecue. And you know, this first one we pulled out, they fell off the bones. Everything else stayed perfectly the way I like them, just kind of on the bone, but super, super tender. These are going into the oven, under the broiler, 425 degrees, and you're gonna kind of need to keep an eye on them. It's kind of the rule of a broiler. If you put something in the broiler, you take your eye off them, your house burns down. This is just fact. And here we are. We are at exactly 54 minutes, and we have ribs that are ready to go. Look at these babies. We got the little burnt tips on them right there on the edges. This is our mustard South Carolina sauce. Look at that. We might even put a little bit more sauce on them at the end, or you can serve the sauce at the table, which is usually my go-to. Keep a little bottle of sauce right there, and everybody's happy. Now, these were the ones that fell right off the bone, so these you can just eat with a fork, with your fingers, and the whole thing is coming with. A little slice of corn, perfect taste of summer with 1 hour barbecue ribs thanks to the pressure cooker, and great meat from Ingles. I want to thank you so much for joining me right here at the Ingles table. Make sure you check out the rest of the site for more great tips, tricks, and recipes. Until next time, I'll see you in the kitchen.